Off we go, Double Shot Tuesday today in the Beat of Sports. These are songs whose title do not appear in the lyrics. This would be Led Zeppelin, Black Dog.
Nice.
50857 on the text line for Double Shot Tuesday. Again, songs whose title do not appear in the lyrics. Takes a little bit of thinking.
Yeah.
And a little bit of knowledge of some of these songs. But yeah, off we go. How we doing today, Chris?
I've been better, Mark.
Chris is
As you like to
struggling with
point
his
out.
allergy. I kid, but I carry some of this battled allergies. So but I'm glad you're going to the doctor.
Yes. It's been like over a month, if not 2 months. Just brutal, man.
Tough.
But we power through.
Has your wife kicked you out of the bed yet?
She wants to.
Yeah.
She wants to.
Yeah. I feel terrible when I have bad attacks and never, now that my wife and are empty nesters, she has her choice of bedrooms. She's like, I'm out of here.
Oh, multiple bedrooms. Excuse us.
Well, yeah. So I feel bad. Hopefully you get the relief you need.
Ah, God, I hope so. I'm tired of this.
Yeah. Tough. Well, that wasn't a good basketball game last night, huh?
Nope.
Woo! Man. We'll get to what happened at the Kia Center last night. The Magic lose to the Pacers, who had not won since before the All-Star break. Not since, before I think it was 41 days. Can you imagine? 41 days. I mean, that has to just make you, and when you're part of a group of teams, and this is a great tank year. I mean, you got some teams that have really mailed it in. And you lose 16 straight, like game night can't mean much to you, right?
Well, you play the clip of the Pacers, the final call on the Pacers broadcast during the bridge. And I mean, were they really excited? Were they really excited to win? Because I'm pretty sure that goes against everything that they're trying to do right now.
Well, but hang on a second. I'll play the clip, okay? But you have to put this in perspective. I don't believe that players that are out there playing want to lose. Teams go out of their way to rest guys, to not bring guys back. That's an organization. But I think any player that puts a uniform on wants to win.
If you go back to the Wizards game a couple of weeks ago when they hit the 3 to force overtime and everyone's like, oh, God.
That's because half the team's gambling on the game. It's got nothing to do. No. Those are guys that have a FanDuel account. Players want to play. And Jamal Mosley, and there's criticism of everybody, he is right when he brought the point up last night. Half the guys that were available played in the NBA Finals last year. Now, some were on the bench not playing a lot of minutes, but Pascal Siakam is an all-star. Okay? You want to play. Now, take it another step. You're the announcer? I don't care if the team's tanking. It sucks when you do games that your team's down by 30 and 40 and the organization doesn't want to win. So when this happens last night, I understand.
Of what they're trying to do. Javon Carter gets it now to Banchero. Banchero. Yeah, baby. Yeah, Siakam, way to get that W.
Yeah, they're fired up, man. They're fired up. Listen, the opposite of it, and I get it. I'm watching the Magic broadcast last night. You can't spin that any other way, and I give credit between David and Jeff, and then Dante in postgame. You can't spin that. And Nick Anderson, like, hey, it's a bad loss. And as I said, didn't play defense until the 45th minute of the 40. I mean, you can't spin, hey, good. I mean, sometimes the story is what the story is, man. So I get the excitement of the Pacer announcers. And it's a really bad loss. It's a terrible loss for the Magic. The only thing you can put a little bit of a positive is that the Hawks won. Everybody else that you're battling in Philly and the Heat, they lost. Okay, but your gap to Atlanta just got worse by a game.
Does this? I know you said that the Magic aren't going to fire Jamal Mosley with 10 games left in the season.
By the way, good friend Keith Smith put out a tweet last night, kind of wondering if That may happen. What now? Yeah.
Is this like a nail in the coffin? The Magic don't
No,
make it out of the first round. Don't make it out of the play-in.
I'm going to get into that in the next segment. I touched on it briefly with Kelly on the bridge, and I'll do a little bit more in the game last night, and then that faction of every fan base, and I understand it. But if you think one guy's to blame for last night's game, why are you letting everybody else off the hook? Okay. I mean, you want Jamal Mosley fired, and you're in that group. Okay. You can actually have a basketball conversation, explain why, but why are you letting everybody else off the hook? Between the role of 85 assistant coaches and the guys that played. Don't let them off the hook last night either. That's on everybody. You know? We'll chat more on the Magic and Pacers and what's next for them. Matt and Michelle's weekly Tuesday visit will put a wrap on the UCF basketball season. Matt was in Philadelphia and get his thoughts on that and some other things. UCF spring practice is about to get underway football-wise and some other college-related things. Daniel Roberts, my good friend at Front Office Sports, touching on a variety of sports business items. He's going to join us in the 10 o'clock hour. Velton Brown, I mentioned on the bridge. Chris and I talked about it yesterday. Maybe you at least either saw on TV or saw clips on social media of the NFL stars against Team USA's flag football team. Velton Brown plays for Team USA, and he'll join us to share the experience of what it was like to play those NFL guys. And I know he's pretty strong in his view about who should play for the Olympics in 2020.
Can you ask him if he wanted to knock Logan Paul out?
I'll let you ask him that.
I will.
Okay.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
By the way, I was right. The whole thing was shtick. I mean, you do know now about Paul and Tom Brady, right? It's a WWE thing.
Of course it is. Yeah, I saw WWE reach out to Tom Brady.
Well, it's two fanatics is what the deal is. WrestleMania's in Vegas. Brady with his ownership stake in the Raiders, and he's agreed, I guess, to do some sort of storyline. So that was all shtick. You hate it, but the Paul brothers know how to market, man. You may not like it.
So now we're
not in the audience.
Now we're making the entire world a WWE script. Is what we're doing.
Chris, we live in a WWE world, man. If you haven't realized that, that's more about you. All right, all that coming up. We'll do a little bit more on the Magic. You can catch the show on FM 96.9, AM 740. If you're listening on the iHeart app, no matter where you are, thank you for doing that. You can access this in a podcast form anytime you want. Go where you get your favorite podcast, type of the Beat of Sports on demand, subscribe, please, and get it downloaded to listen when it's convenient for you. And you can watch the live stream. If you are into the video side of things, maybe Chris will do something crazy. Go to our YouTube page. Just type in 96 The Game Orlando. Click on the logo, then the live button. You can watch the show live. Also access the video stream on Twitter, 96.9 Game On. And you can also watch it later at your convenience. All that and so much more. But first, everybody's favorite segment.
It's almost like an unwritten rule that when you become a father, you become king of the bad dad jokes.
What is Forrest Gump's password? One Forrest one.
Are you ready to laugh? We know at least one person is. Here's CV's dad joke of the day.
Oh, that's so great.
All right.
By the way, I look pretty ripped in the stream. I'm working out, man. Not even a medium shirt, man, but the guns look pretty good.
Wow.
I lift and work in Philly. What? Go ahead. I'm an old man. I think I look okay. Go ahead.
Oh, wow. What did the Dalmatians say?
No,
Oh, wow.
What?
Wow. Can't believe you just
Go
did
ahead.
that.
No, go ahead.
What did the Dalmatian say when he finished eating?
I don't know, Chris. What did the Dalmatian say when he finished eating?
That hit the spot. Get it, Dalmatian spot.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. Sure. The weight.
Nicely done.
Wow. Good job with the audience today. These are song titles who do not appear in the lyrics. Okay. 50857 on the text line. By the way, Chris, the Orlando Storm, the UFL team, plays their first game on Sunday night. You know the quarterbacks on the roster.
I should know the starter.
The deep dive of the Magic in a moment, yeah?
I should know the starter, but I'm
Three
blanking on his
quarterbacks
name.
are Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
There it is, DTR.
And Jack Plummer played at Louisville. And Hank Bachmeier bounced around a few places. Those are three quarterbacks on the team. So there you go. Coming up on the video stream, the next break, the show within the show, Chris will eat barbecue. Just watch Chris eat ribs. Sonny's brought by some food today. They're the sponsors of Leesburg Bike Fest coming up April 24th to the 26th. Lita Ford, Everclear, Sistel Hazel among the performers. Go to leesburgbikefest.com to learn about special VIP packages and more. Thanks to Sonny's who brought food by. And Chris is going to eat ribs live on the stream. That doesn't make you tune in. I don't know what else we can do here, man. That doesn't load the viewership up.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Do you peel the meat off the bone or do you
No.
bite into the bone? Well, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's about to get real messy in here.
Tune in for that coming up in about 20 minutes, huh? Got that going on. So, the Magic lose to the Pacers last night. A few things, okay? Before the game, before we get to the game in which the Magic lose to a team that had lost 16 straight games and hadn't won in 41 days, before the All-Star break, not like, hey, after the All-Star, like before the All-Star break. Chris, what do you think the mindset, you and I were talking earlier, the mindset of a team that just hasn't won in better than a month, and they're not playing for anything? You know, in some ways, the Pacers are playing pickup basketball on a nightly basis, right? It's not that a coach that is a Hall of Fame coach that's won a championship doesn't care, okay? It's just you're playing the string out. So last night is a classic moment as you watch the start of the game, right? The Pacers hit a couple of shots. We feel pretty good. Let's go, right? Then the Magic come back and finally take the lead. You're like, all right, this is what Indiana's going to do, and they're going to call tonight. But they like caught a second win multiple times. But again, last night, you learned that Jalen Suggs was out. He's sick. He's ill. He's not playing. He's out. Anthony Black remains out. Anybody know when he's coming back? Franz Wagner's still out. Anybody know when he's coming back? Mo Wagner, second straight game, he doesn't play. Remember, everybody kept saying, well, he's the heart and soul of that team off the bench. He doesn't play. Jonathan Isaac, I've given up on that now for multiple years. The point is, though, when you take away, particularly in Suggs and Black and Wagner, you're no longer significantly better than the Indiana Pacers, even with the record the Pacers brought in. Now, you've got Paolo, and he went for 39, took a lot of shots. Okay. You got Desmond Bane. Okay, let's talk about Desmond Bane. Has to play point guard because the Magic are down on guards. Carter starts. He's in foul trouble. Bane's in foul trouble. I mean, the Magic are out there. And by the way, the plus minus of these guys actually was on the plus side. But Jamal Cain played 23 minutes. Jett Howard, Jace Richardson are getting minutes. And if you look at some of the matchups at 5-on-5, sorry, the Magic were not significantly better at times in Indiana last night. Then you get to the game. 44 third quarter points. The Pacers hit threes, had 9 threes in the quarter, and the Pacers got the pun intended pace they wanted, despite losing as many games they lost. I think they're 8th in offensive pace. Listen, they gave up playing defense months ago. This is just, we're going to go up and down. We're playing playground basketball. We're going to knock down some shots. And in the second half, like, hey, if we get a 3, let's take it, not just give it to Siakam and then let him do his thing. And he's an all-star. But the Magic Defense was horrendous. And then you're mixing and matching because you got guys in foul trouble. You're playing guys that hadn't played a ton of minutes. I mean, look at Gogo Batazzi, who went from a role to non-existent, didn't play, now back in. Wagner doesn't play, and now you're scrambling. 10 o'clock hour, WYG Orlando, WJR, HD2 Cocoa Beach. All right, down double digits. All of a sudden, the Pacers get tired. 3-point play, turnover, basket, and you're like, well, this has kind of gotten interesting to get back into the basketball game. And then the Magic have a chance with 6 seconds to go. Jamal Mosley said, hey, they're going to try to run something, get it to Paolo, run something with Desmond. They covered it. There's still an option for Paolo. He fakes one way, back to the basket, goes the other way, goes to the basket. If you're a passionate Magic fan, you're stunned that the foul's not called. Jamal Mosley throws his hands up, and he's stunned. He can't believe a foul wasn't called. If you're a Pacer fan, the 6 that are left this year, good defense. But I thought the team that is supposedly the better team, they get calls. Listen, go back and watch it. And maybe the last 2-minute report today is going to say that I'm wrong. I went back and I watched, partly because I was showing my wife, hey, look at the reaction of some people, including Jamal Mosley and Alex Martins, who got put in the Magic Hall of Fame yesterday, stood up with his arms out like, how's that not a foul call? And then I watched frame by frame, and you know what? I don't think it was a foul. I don't. Both players, one in front, one behind. Siakam's behind Paolo. Both go straight up. Now, are you going to argue that there's a forearm or a wrist that makes contact? But Siakam from behind goes straight up and he touches the ball, brings the ball down as Paolo comes down. Doesn't get a shot off. Even Paolo said afterwards, could have been called a foul? Yeah, but both guys went straight up. Hey, for 47 minutes and 59 seconds, he had chances to win the basketball game. And no guarantee if you get to overtime that you win. It's a bad loss. It's a bad loss. More on the loss. Here's more from Paolo after last night's game.
Just getting stops. You know, they were, like I said, pretty comfortable throughout the game offensively. You know, they shot the ball well, got in the paint. They were getting to the free throw line. So, you know, listen, their record is terrible this year, but they got some talented guys out there, and those guys came to play.
More on the Magic, Jamal Mosley adds.
Losing a game in general is not the right thing to do where we are and what we're trying to accomplish. I said it before the game that the record was 15 and whatever. They have a Hall of Fame coach and they've been playing hard all year. So it's not the record. It's the way that these guys played. Half of those guys in that locker room have been in the finals. So it's not just the record. It's a team that knows how to play basketball. It's a team that understands exactly the moment that they were in. So they were hungry to come out and get it, and that's what they did.
Now, yeah, they don't want to snap a 16-game losing streak. Yeah, but they're at a stage now where we got 10 games left. Hey, let's go out, play loose. We hit some shots. I guess we're in the game. If not, then whatever. It's no big deal. And it's a bad loss. And now the Magic have lost 5 straight games. But I mentioned this before. If you're in the group that wants the Magic to make a coaching change, and many on Twitter last night thought it should have happened minutes after the game, Jamal Mosley, like everybody else, took his bags and got on the team plane and flew to Cleveland and landed after 3 a.m. this morning. They're going to play the Cavaliers tonight and fly home and get home at about 3:30 in the morning because the Magic play on Thursday. Life in the NBA, man, that's just the way that it is. But there's no time to sulk. But here's the point. If you want a coaching change and you want to give basketball reasons, the lack of offense, the consistency, understanding the rotation, all that stuff, you can have a basketball conversation. That's fine. Jamal Mosley is not the only reason why the Magic lost last night. You can't do that. You can't let his assistants off the hook. You can't let the players who played off the hook last night. And again, take a look who didn't play. Suddenly, you're not one of the best teams in the East when you're missing the players that the Magic didn't have. And you're asking role guys to play more minutes. That's on everybody last night. But the evaluation, it will happen. The emotion of a loss last night means you want it now. Fire the guy. Right? Mike Malone, get him out. They did. Now imagine, like, hire Mike Malone. Never say never, but that's not this organization. But the evaluation is happening. You have to understand the timeline. Meaning, if they're done in the play-in, then that's the evaluation. It's the coach, it's the president GM, and it's on the makeup of the team. If they get ousted in the first round of the playoffs, let's say they get out of the play-in or avoid the play-in, and it's a non-competitive series, that's the evaluation. It's not happening at the pace if you're in the group that wanted instant action last night, because that fueled the fire. And Jamal Mosley knows it. He knows it. But it's not just an evaluation of him. Now, they figure it out. They avoid the play-in. They win a first round. Like I always talk about the journey, man. I don't know what it's going to be like. You know, somehow win a first round, get to the second round, lose in 6. Maybe people feel differently. I don't know who's playing right now. I have no idea when these guys come back because no one ever tells you. It's like the hostage video from a distance of a guy taking, an 8-foot jump shot. And he's doing drills. I don't know, but I mean, if they don't get guys back, then they're not one of the 5 best teams in the East. They're not. Look who played last night. But the evaluation, it's on the coach. It should be on the president and GM by ownership. And it's on the makeup of the team. And then you got to decide, well, if we're going to make a change of coach, who's doing the hiring? Do we believe in the president and GM? Is he the right person that if we make a change, that's the right person to choose the next coach? Or do we want to pause and go, hang on, is that the best person to hire a coach and to decide if the makeup of this team is good enough? Because what won't work is if the season ends either in a play-in or in a non-competitive first round, you can't sell we just need to be healthy next year. We're way beyond that. You can't assume health for this team or the makeup of these players. You can't. But they got games left, and they're going to ride this out. And look how fast the losing streak got to 5. And yes, it was a tough stretch of games. And last night was one that you just knew you had to have. And after last night, again, the only positive you can take is that both Miami and Philadelphia lost. And today the Magic sit in 8th place. And yeah, you go, well, it's just 2 games behind Toronto. Well, 2 games, the way the teams played, is not that easy to pick up with 11 games left to go. But yeah. Game and a half behind the Hawks in 6th. And also a half game up on Charlotte. You know, you lose the 9-10, you're out. That's it. So they put themselves in this position. And now the question is, do they play their way out of it? And Cleveland tonight will not be easy. As the Cavaliers at home are tough. Magic know that. They've won 3 straight. I don't know if they can catch the Knicks 2.5. I mean, it's possible with games left. They got 11 games left. Knicks have 10. But they got a lot to play for. 4 games up on the 5th spot, so they're probably in pretty good shape to host the first round. But last night's on everybody, man. It's on your players. If you're not respecting your opponent, that's on you. It's on coaches. It's on everybody. And you want to break down certain plays and all sorts of stuff. If you want to complain that Paolo was fouled, then you got to be honest that there was a kickball that wasn't called, that the Pacer bench was going crazy over as well. You had 47 minutes and 59 seconds to beat the Pacers, and if you're going to break it down to the final play, well, that's on the team. So it's a bad loss. Matt Michelle, about 25 minutes. If you're on the video stream, Chris eats ribs.
I will need to run and go get napkins real quick.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Isn't that the fun of it? That you just kind of
Well, I also need to touch the board.
Well,
and
that's true. Got a few $1 million in equipment there. You might want to.
Yeah, I don't need Frank yelling at me.
All right, that's on the stream that you don't want to miss. That Daniel Roberts, our good friend at Front Office Sports, joins us next.
All right, I guess I'm eating ribs here.
Are we live?
Yep.
All right, so Sonny's brought by some barbecue, which is nice. Chris can't breathe because he's got allergies, so that's the plate. So what do you got there? You got a couple of ribs, and then what is the mac and cheese? Jalapeno.
I think you said jalapeno cheddar. Looks like some bacon bits on top.
By the way, did you comb your hair for this segment?
No,
Looked like you cleaned up a little bit.
I mean I'm always looking clean and fresh.
I thought you came in a little roughed up and everything. And, okay. The rib?
Yeah.
You just go right in? Yeah, okay. Look at that, huh? Can you taste it with your allergies?
Yeah.
A little smoke there to it?
Yeah, very good flavor.
Okay. Scale of 1 to 5 ribs. What do you got? How many bones?
I'll give it a 3.5.
3.5? Not
3.5.
bad. Okay. All right, now I'm curious. Keep eating the rib.
Okay.
You know what I can't stand? Ribs and wings. When people like take a bite and like they leave a ton of meat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just like bite it and they think they're done. It's like you're leaving like half the meat on it. So I'm curious if you're going to clean this baby off here.
I tend to do that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You ever cook ribs at all
No.
on the grill?
You know what I did buy yesterday though?
What?
Octopus.
Live?
Yes.
You bought octopus?
Yep. It's already cooked, but I want to put it on the grill.
Have you done that before?
Nope.
What made you do it?
I saw it and I was like, you know what? Screw it.
So where'd you get it? How much? Wait, is
Costco.
it? How much is the octopus?
It was 24.
Yeah.
24 bucks.
So it's a full thing?
I didn't open the package. I saw the tentacles though.
Yeah. And you're going to grill it?
Uh-huh.
Have you ever had it? No?
Yeah. I
Yeah?
had it in Colombia.
Wow.
Mhm.
Going to grill that baby up. All right. See, now you're doing a good job. You're taking most of the meat off there. It's pretty good.
No, I don't waste food.
Grilled octopus, huh?
Mhm.
Don't think I can do it.
You never had it?
Yes. In New Orleans, one it may have been like an American championship game. We played Tulane, or maybe been a regular season game, and it was an appetizer that they brought, and I forget how it was made, but it was a little chewy.
Yeah.
A little chewy.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't
That's good,
spit
though.
it back out or anything.
Octopus is good.
Okay. Huh. Well, I can check that off the list of things Chris won't eat then. In this segment of foods that Chris doesn't eat, that'll eat.
I don't need steak. I told you.
Yeah, right. Try the mac and cheese and jalapeno, though. I want to see what that is.
Gotta call Daniel here.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is gripping stuff. Watching a guy eat ribs on the video stream, huh? Can't get this content anywhere. I did not partake in the barbecue. It looks good. I am bringing a plate home for my lovely wife for dinner tonight, but locked in on the caloric intake this week. Hot? Little bite to it?
Very slight bite to it.
Okay.
But not too bad.
All right. All right, there you go. We're going to get back and act like radio professionals in a moment. Yeah, today's theme of Double Shot Tuesday, songs whose title do not appear in the lyrics. This would be the Goo Goo Dolls and Iris. Never mentioned in the song.
Love singing the chorus.
Chicks dig John Resnick. They do, man. He's got that John Bon Jovi look, like chicks always think he's hot. Daniel Roberts is my good friend, and he's busy doing great stuff at Front Office Sports as their executive in charge of all sorts of good stuff. And we always enjoy catching up, talking sports business. I haven't spoken to you since that Patriot run, and you're a big Patriot fan. What was it like to be back there again?
It was a pleasant surprise. I think we benefited, from the AFC just not being very good. I think we fielded a great team, maybe not the best team. I was at Super Bowl week. I always am for the week leading up to it for all the media. And, they give you a hat, and it was like the Rob Lowe hat. You go to the media party and you get a hat that it just says, Super Bowl, whatever it was, without the logos. And now I'm going to have to burn the hat because the result of the game was so horrible. It's not something I want to remember.
All right, let's jump into some things. For years, Warren Buffett did a NCAA tournament bracket contest, and it's been known for a while, but I guess he tweaked it, and now somebody won. So, how long has he been doing that, and then when did it change, and who won?
That's right. It's kind of a fun story. I think people love Buffett's love of March Madness. And by the way, he stepped down as CEO this year after an incredible many decades run. So people wondered if the contest was going to continue, but it did. For the longest time, he offered a big pot of money if you had a perfect bracket, just like Kalshi has touted. But, the chances of that are so infinitesimal. So that never happened. And finally, last year is when he tweaked the rules, and he said he wanted to actually see a winner. And he said, we'll give $1 million to the person in the pool whose bracket stays perfect the longest. So last year, someone won $1 million for getting 30 of the first 32 games. This year, and I believe I'm first to know this because I have a birdie at Berkshire, 4 different people had 31 of the first 32 games perfect. There was some kind of tiebreaker, and they have $1 million winner again. So, yeah, there's a great quote from when he changed the rules last year. He said, I'm getting older, and I want to give $1 million to somebody while I'm still around. He's 95 years old. But he's been doing that. He's been doing the pool for many years. Since 2014. It started as a Quicken Loans thing.
Yeah.
Since Berkshire owns Quicken Loan, and it was $1 billion for a perfect bracket, which of course no one ever got.
Let me pivot to something you just kind of made reference to in Kalshi and Polymarket. I'm curious your thoughts on the development of this predictions market, the ability of these companies to then open the door for other brands, like, for example, in Florida, where the Seminole Tribe and Hard Rock have an exclusive deal, but the prediction markets have now found a way. What's your view of that industry's growth, not gambling, but the predictions market and how it's impacted sports?
Yeah, well, first of all, in some ways, and you and I have been talking since 2015, but it reminds me a lot of DraftKings and FanDuel. And there are people who would say, no, it's not betting. That's their whole thing, is they say, we're not betting. You're investing in a contract. And of course, come on, it's all just marketing and how you frame it. It sure looks the same as betting, and you're placing money onto who wins the game. And they say, well, when the game ends, the investment contract pays out. Okay. But it does remind me of when those companies burst onto the scene because of the aggressive onslaught of advertising. And Kalshi and Polymarket, which are the two kind of pure plays here. In other words, they're just prediction markets companies, as opposed to all these other established companies, DraftKings, FanDuel, Fanatics, Coinbase, Robinhood, that have now added their own prediction markets. But Kalshi and Polymarket are the face of this trend. And, they've really hoovered up partnerships with major leagues and teams. And I would say that it all came to a head last week. And we had the scoop on this, but Polymarket and Major League Baseball came to a long-term deal. And boy, I have not seen so much fan backlash to any of the prior partnerships. I mean, the NHL made a partnership with both, MLS made a partnership with one, but when it's baseball, that's a major domino. And again, these are just marketing pacts. This is Polymarket pays MLB money. We've heard $300 million over the course of 3 or 4 years. to be the official prediction market partner of Major League Baseball. But I think a lot of people see this as a major contradiction of some recent things that baseball has said and done. And by the way, as recently as summer, MLB sent a memo to players and teams warning them about prediction markets and reminding them that they can't trade on them and that the same gambling rules that cover all teams and players cover prediction markets.
But that's my.
So I think you're about to see a big backlash, big political backlash.
And that was going to be my follow-up question: is that MLB went to great lengths to remind its players. Then obviously,
right.
The NBA's dealt with some gambling issues, but Major League Baseball had it front and center. With evidence
Yep.
of a pitcher. Is this just, hey, ethics is one thing? They're giving us 9 figures. We'll take the money.
Yep. Yeah. 2 pitchers, by the way, who we reported just recently have now gone on unpaid leave. They were on paid leave. So they're never going to pitch again. Look, we know what a commissioner's job is, and this is not to defend this partnership, but the commissioner's job, and people forget, they work for the team owners, and their job is revenue. So, yeah, finally they said, ooh, $300 million. And I did a tweet about this too, but the NFL and NBA have stayed away from these companies, but someone over there, when they see that Polymarket is giving Major League Baseball $300 million, I guarantee you they're calling saying, wow, well, if you're paying MLB $300 million, what would you pay for an NFL deal? What would you pay for an NBA deal? And I'll bet you too that the people at the NHL and Major League Soccer, when they see that number, are saying, oh, $300 million, God, we did it for a lot less. So look, Manfred is supposed to make money for the league, and that's what this is. They probably figure we can survive 2 weeks of backlash and negative tweets.
Daniel Roberts, editor-in-chief at Front Office Sports, is with us. Always enjoy catch up, talk a little sports business. In this world of consolidation of media companies, it was inevitable that you're going to have some blurred lines here. In a world of sports news that is about get it quick, get it fast, and the insider that's supposed to know. Well, now, I mean, Daniel, you see this. The tweet about the new contract comes with who the agency is, the sponsorships, and how much blurred lines have now developed where the inside information guy, how they get information, protecting the partnerships. If I'm an ESPN, I got to be careful because of my deal with the NFL. If I'm with this network, I got to be careful because we're in bed. It's become a blurred line where I don't know about, quote, ethics in journalism matters anymore.
Well, so if I'm being cynical, I would say that not much has actually changed for the people doing it, the people reporting those scoops. And I don't mean that they're still clean and there's not an ethical issue. I mean, there were always ethical issues. There were always conflicts. I mean, another thing people have become more aware of is when someone like Dan Orlovsky is praising a quarterback who's a free agent, and they do some Googling and they see that the quarterback and Dan Orlovsky are both repped by CAA. So they think, oh, is he just promoting his agency's guy? Maybe, maybe not. But I mean, these things aren't new. I think that fans have just become much more aware of it. And I think something like the ESPN NFL deal does not help, with ESPN taking over NFL Network. And we've done extensive reporting on talent at NFL Network right now as we speak, being notified of whether they will still have a job. They'll either become ESPN employees or they won't have a job anymore. And this is what it took for some people to finally say, well, wait a minute, now that the NFL is going to own a 10% stake in ESPN, how does that affect things? Well, I don't believe in being Pollyannish when I say I don't think Goodell is calling up ESPN reporters saying, hey, we own 10% of you. You got to take that tweet down. But I do think that there were always possible issues with these insiders who, and this is not to throw shade, but mostly they get their scoops from agents. They get a text from an agent and then they report it live on the air, like Shams. Those issues were always there, but fans are more aware of them and attuned to them than ever before.
New Major League Baseball season begins tomorrow night. The Yankees and Giants play. I'm old. I want the Reds to play the noon game on a Monday to start a season and have a bunch of teams play afterwards. So I accept that. It's also on Netflix, who now gets into this business. And at the same time, I think today we still have a number of Major League teams trying to find out what their media deal is. I know the Marlins and Rays in this state are scrambling to say to their fans, hey, buy this streaming package or watch it here. It's fascinating because here's opening day, and because of what happened to regional sports networks, we had about a third of the league scrambling to get TV deals in place.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's so much here, and it's kind of fascinating. The RSN stuff, the regional sports networks, boy, have they, as a general category, gone from hand to hand like a hot potato. I mean, I remember when Disney acquired most of 21st Century Fox, and at the time, the DOJ said the only way we'll approve this deal is you must immediately divest yourself of the RSNs, the sports networks that Fox owns. So Disney sold those off. And in the end, ironically, now MLB is taking control of many of them. What MLB wants to do is bring them all in-house under MLB control. And arguably, that brings them back to ESPN because of certain deals between MLB and ESPN and Disney. It isn't the case that MLB will no longer be on ESPN, but it's far, far fewer. 30 games this season, no Sunday night baseball. So there's a major sea change there, but it is worth noting that MLB and ESPN kind of made up after their big public divorce. The season opener being exclusive to Netflix is a major, major shift that I think should not be overlooked. I mean, you know, I often think of people, Mark, and I don't want to be ageist, so it's not just people of a certain age, but I think there's people who have a lot of trouble. I know we've talked about this when they discover like, well, where's the damn game? And then they learn it's only on a certain streaming app that you might not subscribe to. And a lot of people still are like, wait, really? How could that be? That's the only place I can watch it? That's a major change. And I think a lot of people are pissed about that. But, you know, leagues are going to sell their games to whatever place gives them the most money. And in many cases, increasingly over the next few years, it's going to be streamers. Look at MLS and Apple, a much maligned deal by MLS fans. They're saying, wait, we have to pay for Apple TV? But arguably, if you're enough of a fan and you want to see the games, yeah, you got to pay for Apple TV.
Yeah, but they gave up the paywall,
though,
for MLS. I mean, I got by Apple,
right.
But they gave up the pay. But I mean, your example,
right.
and I'll give you an example about where to find it. My 89-year-old mom lives with my sister in South Florida, and they're huge Heat fans.
Yep.
And when I called them last night, they're asking me, why can't I find the game? And I go, well, it's on Peacock. And I got well, how come it's not on the channel I normally watch it? And yeah, that's a hard discussion.
Crazy.
When they're expecting the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious your thoughts on the evolution the last X number of years of the podcast world in sports, just to focus on that. The former athlete that now builds that brand, the deals that are made, the dollars that are paid, the public accepting the access. Hey, I can go to this new form of media, the content. What do you make of what's developed? And is there a saturation point?
Yeah. Yeah, I love talking about this. And I say this as myself, not a big podcast listener. Now, I love radio when I'm in the car. I listen to Sirius XM. You know, we put our stuff on a podcast, but I just think it's so saturated and crowded. And yet there's room for these former athletes who have enough of a fan base if you're good. I do think the cream rises. I mean, look at the Kelceys, right? And some people think that they're way oversaturated. They've seen enough of Jason Kelce, but the numbers prove it out that people love them and they have something there. They've captured something. Same with a lot of the Barstool personalities, Bussin' with the Boys, right? Same with Kelce's wife, you know, has a giant podcast, Jason Kelce's wife. So if you're a big enough persona, you can do it. But I do think that there's going to be a, maybe not consolidation, but a culling of how many of these podcasts can succeed because we're still at the peak where more keep launching. I mean, I'm constantly emailed about new athlete podcasts launching. But I do think part of what has created this environment is that people are less finicky about the definition of journalist, who can host, who can report news. Look at Pat McAfee. I mean, he breaks news all the time. Now, he would proudly say he's not a journalist. He's just a personality or a talking head. But the other thing McAfee does, and you got to give it up, and I know he's, you know, controversial. There are people who hate him, but he gets every guest. I mean, when someone in the sports world makes news, they're on Pat McAfee the next day. So the guests go to where the numbers are. I recently did an interview with Logan Ryan, the former Patriot. He's all over media. And we talked about how many former Patriots guys, I know I'm being a homer here with my Pats fandom, but it is remarkable how many guys from the Belichick Patriots dynasty now have podcasts and are on TV. I mean, you name them, right? It's Brady, it's Gronk, it's Brian Hoyer, Brady's backup. They've all got podcasts. So I think that will continue until we go down the slope of the peak, and then you see a bunch of them shutting because they just can't compete and have the numbers. You know, everyone can't listen to every podcast.
No, it's incredible to see the contents. I joke, my mailman's got a podcast, Stamps Forever. That's a joke, but I mean,
right.
you know, it's possible.
That's right. By the way, Mark, I also, on the same series where I spoke to Logan Ryan, Brian Hoyer, all these guys, we recently had in Brandon Marshall, UCF.
Who's done well. He's done very well. And I think Brandon's done well. But part of why I think Brandon done well is he's opened up about dealing with mental health over the years, which I think create a platform for other athletes to feel like, hey, I can go here and it's a safe haven to talk about topics that you're not supposed to talk about as a tough football guy. He's on X or Twitter at Reed Dan Wright. He's the editor in charge at Front Office Sports. They do great stuff on sports business and all sorts of things. And it's always good catching up. I know you're busy. Thanks for the time, man. I appreciate it.
Great catching up. Talk again soon.
Daniel Roberts, Front Office Sports. Matt Michelle is going to join us for his weekly visit. We talk about UCF's end of the basketball season. Spring practice about to open up. Other college sports items with Matt. We'll get to that next. couple of appearances by Robert Plant today. Big log.
Nicely done.
Double shot Tuesday theme. These are songs whose title do not appear in the lyrics. And I'm impressed with the audience. Just coming strong. 50857 on the text line. Let's
I've never heard this song.
Really?
Yep. Never heard it.
Oh, you'd like it. Yeah. Let's get to Matt Michelle. All right, we talk UCF and college sports with Matt Michelle, who covers that world for the Orlando Sentinel. He's on X or Twitter at OS Matt Michelle. Matt was in Philadelphia last week for the NCAA basketball regional. Good morning, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing this morning?
I'm great, thank you. Best food in Philadelphia for Matt Michelle.
It was such a quick turnaround, unfortunately. I went to a place called The Nick, which was just this little kind of mom and pop place just around about a mile and a half away from the media hotel, in that sports Navy Yard district.
Mm-hmm.
And they had amazing, like a beef sandwich, roast beef sandwich and Philly cheesesteaks and, just a variety of different options. And it was kind of nice. We went on that day on Friday right before the game, and it was a nice kind of fall weather. And we were able to sit, on a park bench and enjoy our food and kind of, get out in the sunshine before we had to go up, into the arena. So that to me was probably one of the best meals I had this weekend.
Yeah, the weather, we got there on Wednesday. It was cold, but Thursday got warmer, and Friday, man, it was in the 60s. It was gorgeous on Friday. And then the rain came later in the afternoon, but in the morning it was nice. Let me get some thoughts on the game itself, UCF and UCLA. Just your thoughts, and then we'll do kind of a little bit more of a season overview. Your thoughts on the game.
Well, I thought this is kind of unfortunately what UCF had done the last 4 or 5 games. How it kind of played out. They started out pretty strong, looked like they were, they had a chance to maybe kind of jump out and surprise UCLA, which is I think they did, especially hitting the boards hard early on. But then they struggled shooting the ball, and UCLA went on a couple big runs and was able to kind of take a double-digit lead. And we had to see UCF kind of fight back, and they fight back all the way to the very end. And we saw that time and time again where they would that the Knights would take it all the way to the last minute to try to make a run. And I thought there was an opportunity for them. I thought UCF had a chance to win, to take that game and win that game. But they struggled on the free throw line a little bit. They improved a little on 3-point shooting, but the turnovers early on, they had 11 first half turnovers. That really just kind of put them behind the 8 ball. And I never felt like they got their legs again, until the very end. And then they made that run. But it seemed to me like a replay of what we've seen over and over again, like this last 5 or 6 games. And it was tough for them. I know, they were banged up. They had guys who didn't get an opportunity to play. Jimmy Fermenta was out, didn't play in the game. You saw John Bull go down with an injury. I think not everyone, Jermichael Stillwell was still wearing his boots. I think everyone was kind of banged up a little bit, and they gave it their best, but in the end, it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, I said about the game, what hurts is if your team plays hard and loses and you feel like, hey, they give an effort, you can live with that. It's when they don't play well that kind of bothers you. And that's not taking away, because I thought UCLA did some really good things to win the game, and their best leading scorer was not in the game. And I think you'll agree, UCF is not in the NCAA tournament without Themis folks. They're not. He had a bit of a turnover issue the last month of the season, and in that game, he had 6 turnovers and 5 led to UCLA points. That's going to hurt. You were in the building. You got to know John Bull over the season. I love John. I hope John is back, because I think he's a great personality. I think he's going to get better. But when 19,800 people, minus the UCF fans of, say, 500 or 600, had never seen his form, and they see him miss badly, you felt that building when he was at the free throw line. You're like, I feel bad for John, because this is not going to go well. You could feel those things. And you watched Jermichael Stillwell throughout the season. Yes, he had 13 rebounds. He had no spring in his step. He could barely jump. I mean, so those are things that kind of bother you because you didn't get a chance to put the best effort. And it's great that Jordan Burks hit 6 threes. Heck, if he hits a couple of those in any of the 4 previous games, they may have been a 7th or 6th seed in the NCAA tournament, just the way things had gone. But that's, that's what happened.
Yeah, and I think you just saw a team that got to the tournament and was like I said, was just a little banged up, like you mentioned. if guys are at their best, if Stillwell is 100% healthy, and give that guy credit. That guy is playing on one leg for the last month. You know what I mean? And you talk about John Bull. John Bull was getting just crushed by the crowd in that game for his free throw form. You know what I mean? And he was struggling. And I think, and then I think he wasn't physically 100%. And then it just felt like at every point, but yet still saying that you're at the very end of the game, you're right there. You know what I mean? And if a run turns a little bit earlier, or if maybe they're able to hit a few more free throws, who knows what happens at the end of the game? Maybe they tie it up, maybe you go to overtime. It's a different story. But it was a valiant effort, but you just felt like, especially when they went up by about 14 points, you start thinking, okay, this seems very familiar. We've seen this a lot, and this team's going to continue to fight back, but it just ran out of gas at the very end and just couldn't find a way to get over the hump.
Okay, now take a step back. The emotion of a loss in that game and a 30,000-foot view. You've covered the team long enough. There's always going to be Johnny Dawkins critics. That's fine. I said even yesterday, I don't mind the basketball conversation as long as there's some context to it. The team went into the NCAA tournament. It's an at-large team from the toughest conference in the country, not an opinion based on the metrics and everything. You assess the 2025-26 season as what for UCF basketball?
Well, I think this season met their expectations. I think going into the season, we were asking Terry Mahajer, athletic director Terry Mahajer, and even Johnny, what is your expectation? Now, Johnny's always going to say the expectation is to get to the NCAA tournament. And they were able to do that. I think, even Terry said that, the expectation was to get to the tournament. So they got to the tournament, and I thought they had some good runs in the middle of the season. Yes, would they have liked the end of the season to be a little bit better? I'm sure. You'd like to finish a little stronger. Like you said, maybe you're a higher seed, maybe you've got a better run, but to get to the tournament the way they were able to do it, to do that with 13 new players, which basically didn't return any, production from last season, I think it's a pretty incredible run. The key to me is going to be, can you continue this stretch? I talked to Johnny after, one of the media sessions the other day, and I asked him, how important is this to the future of your program? How important is it to get to the NCAA tournament? And he said, it's a great, it's not the end, be all end. It's the starting point, where all of a sudden now you can go into a recruit's home, a transfer's home, and say, listen, we were in the NCAA tournament last year. We've got a team. We feel like we've got some pieces here. Well, come join us and let's continue to make this run go. So I think it helps tremendously that way. And I think it's going to help them big picture wise. You'd hate to believe that everyone's just going to kind of turn it all off after the way it ended. But this is a chance for them to kind of sit down with some of the players they have on this roster. There's some guys that I'm sure they would love to have back. And you say to them, listen, what can we do to make this happen? And look what we're able to do. Don't you want to continue that, and be a part of that? So that's going to be the key this offseason. Can they somehow maybe carry that over? If not, can they do the same thing they did this past year? Rebuild the roster and bring on players that they feel like are going to work well together and are going to have a chance to make a run like that. Johnny said time and time again, he kind of bases a lot of that when he handles the portal, kind of like the NBA, back in his time in the NBA, where you're going to have free agents, you're going to have guys come in and out, and you just have to find a way to deal with that. So that to me is going to be the challenge. But I think making this run, I think this is going to help them in the long run. I think they're eventually going to be able to help them when it comes to adding some pieces to the portal. Who knows? Fundraising, I'm sure probably has gone well. They did a great job with season tickets this year. So I think this is all trending upward. And I think that's where they wanted it to go. And now you feel like you've got momentum. You can start to kind of build on it.
So I have a bad habit of asking persuading questions. So I'm going to try to keep this question as basic and allow you to answer without trying to point you in a direction. Johnny Dawkins' future is what at UCF?
That's a good question. I think they'll be, just based on my conversation with Terry the other day, I think they're going to offer him an extension, and I think I think he takes that extension. I think he wants to continue to be the coach at UCF. Now, how long of an extension that is, whether it's 2 years or longer, I don't know. I think, like I said, talking to Johnny many times before, he loves Orlando. He's talked about that publicly. He loves UCF. He'd love to continue to coach here. But it gets harder and harder. The pressure's getting bigger and bigger. And once you've got to the NCAA tournament, like I said, that's what expectations start to become. And if you don't get to the NCAA tournament next year, all of a sudden fans are very fickle and they start to turn on you. So I think, short term, I think Johnny is here at UCF. Now No, he's 62. I mean, he wants to continue coaching, so it's not like he's got he's thinking of stepping away anytime soon. At least not that I know of. So I think his future's at the UCF for now. I mean, and hopefully he feels like he's got something going that he can build on.
So a follow up, and again, I'm not trying to persuade you towards an answer, but I'm asking you a question that you see across the landscape of college sports, because Arizona State just hired a new coach, and Randy Bennett may be really good. Kansas State just hired a new coach. Cincinnati has kind of publicly stated what they think their roster could be at 10 million, which would be curious where they get that money, because we know where half of the money came from Wes Miller. That was his dad. So I'm curious where they're. But my point is, a lot of places whose fan base are saying we want to change are seeing administration say, okay, but don't you need money to pay players? And before you want me to commit to paying a new coach and that staff a lot more, we've got to decide where we're going to spend our money. That's not just something that Terry may be thinking about at UCF. That's become common, man. You've seen that across the landscape where fans want the coach fired immediately, and you got an AD going, well, hang on a second now. We got X amount of dollars, and we're going to need it for players. So where do you want me to spend it?
Yeah, I think it's a good point. I think there's a lot of athletic directors. I think, that's why you have to kind of, as much as you want to be locked into your fan base and listen to what they have to say, sometimes you have to tune that out. You can't get caught up in what's the popular, belief right now. If the popular belief is, oh my gosh, we got to get rid of this guy. Well, then I think you've got to sit down and look at things, in a real light. Take the glasses off, the rose-colored glasses, and look at it in real light. What can you afford? Where do you want to spend your money? If your money is, okay, we've had some success with basketball. Now we want to put more money and more resources into the basketball program. Okay, where's that money going to come from? Someone's going to suffer from that. So is it going to be a non-revenue sport that suffers from that? Is it going to be football? Because you're not taking money from football. You're not taking any money over to help to add more to basketball. So I think there has to become a serious discussion of where are we putting our money. And if we've only got a limited amount of resources, well, you're sure as heck not going to go out there and spend most of those resources to bring in a coach just because you want to bring in a name and think this guy's going to help turn things around. You would rather spend that money on your roster. You'd rather find a way to continue to put money in that roster. So for some schools, it means maybe not necessarily going out and getting that sexy hire. Maybe it's someone who's a lot, a guy who's up and coming, a mid-major coach, or maybe someone who's an assistant or someone who has some connection to the program. That's more of a better idea. And then you get fans who maybe think, well, this wasn't a great hire. Well, tough. This is the hire we're making because this is the money we can afford. I think the days of getting caught up and letting the fans dictate to a point of what you're going to do have to be over, because realistically, you can't fall farther behind financially and find yourself having to pay out big buyouts and find ways to, spend money that you really don't necessarily need to spend. You've got to become much more fiscal sound. And I think that's where we're seeing a lot across the country, is just schools making decisions based on, listen, we can't afford to do this as much as you want to see a change. We've got to do what we got to do to make sure the program continues to be sound.
Let me do this, because the next time we'll talk, Scott Frost will have opened up spring practice. So what are the most intriguing storylines? And Matt's written about this, the Sentinel, which you can catch online. But what's the most interesting storylines as UCF opens spring camp?
I think some of the storylines are, when I talked to Scott a few weeks ago, he talked about, kind of building a toughness this time around, year two. They want to be tougher. They want to be more disciplined. He felt like they had opportunities, that they could have maybe won a game or two more last year because of maybe they weren't as tough or they weren't as disciplined. And so I think that's the feeling going into spring camp. I think that's something that I kind of want to see how they're kind of going to handle that. I want to look at the offensive line, to see there are a lot of changes in the offensive line, new offensive line coach. How does that group kind of gel? Who steps up at the edge rushing position on the defensive side of things? You lose Judge Kelly, you lose Malachi Lawrence. Who are the two guys that are going to step up maybe and assume that position? You've got some faces that are coming back. You want to see how they kind of develop. Dwayne Thomas Jr., as a wide receiver. You want to see how some of those guys work out. And then, you've got new faces coming. Alonzo Barnett, the third at quarterback. How does that quarterback room develop? You've got a veteran guy who's had experience getting the college football playoff. How does he lead that group? You've got a few younger guys behind him. You have two freshmen who you want to get an opportunity to see the field as well, or else they're not sitting around there holding clipboards for the rest of the time. So you got to figure out how that group's going to go. So I think there's a lot of position groups right now that are interesting to see. Maybe not so much battles, but just maybe who steps up, who becomes the vocal leader, who becomes the person that you can turn to when things get a little bit tough. And that's what Scott talked about a little bit about to me about spring ball is, identifying those guys. Where do the leadership come from? Where do those guys step up?
Hey, my last bonus one. We sometimes forget you travel to games and I travel to games, and you sometimes forget to stop and enjoy the moment. And I'm going to do this for a second because you were in that building. Matt, you saw maybe there's 600 UCF fans, maybe the same number of UCLA fans. But how about that building? 19,800 when the ball went up. That place was incredible Friday night in Philadelphia. It was that way for the afternoon. So I was blown away. It was unbelievable, that crowd on Friday in Philly.
Oh, for sure. It gave you kind of goosebumps at times, because once you start tipping it off, the crowd was great. I mean, and it's amazing because they get the one afternoon crowd out, and then they got to bring in the evening game crowd.
And there wasn't a big,
like,
there wasn't a big break because of how late the start was. So I know a lot of fans struggled to get in, but man, that place filled up again so fast. It was incredible. There wasn't an NPC in the building.
No, there wasn't, and it was really good. I mean, I've been to a few NCAA tournament games myself, and so to get there and get the feel of the game, get the feel of the crowd, and just I think overall it was a great setting, and I think the players appreciated it. I think the coaches appreciate it. That's what Johnny kind of talked a little bit about when it came to the feeling of being in these kind of environments, because when you step on the court, it's a lot different than maybe stepping on the court for a home game. I mean, you get to feel that this is something special, and I think you've seen it. You saw it all weekend in some of these games. What these games mean to these players and to the it just makes it a special moment. I'm glad I had a chance to catch it out this year.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
All right, talk to you later.
Matt Michelle on X or Twitter at OS Matt Michelle. Velton Brown Jr. plays for Team USA's flag football team. That's the group that just embarrassed the NFL players this past weekend in LA. He's going to join us at about 11:15. On the mark, off the mark, also coming up in the hour, but the news kicks it off next.
Let's really do the news.
Yes.
Now it is time to do the news.
But now it's time for the news.
First up, 11 o'clock hour, WYJ Orlando, WJR HD2 Cocoa Beach, Orlando sports leader, Marc Daniels of Beta Sports. Magic saw the Indiana Pacers snap their 16-game losing streak, beating the Magic last night, 128-126, a game that means the Magic have lost 5 straight. Pacers outscored the Magic 44-31 in the third quarter. Magic tried to play catch-up, had possession down 2. Indiana covered an option to Desmond Bain. Paolo goes to the basket. 2 defenders there. Goes up. No foul called. Magic lose 128-126. On a plane, got to Cleveland about 3:30 this morning. Played the Cavaliers tonight. We'll fly back after the Cavaliers game to Orlando to play a game on Thursday. Sixers lost as well, but the Hawks won. Standings in the East after last night's loss for the Magic. Again, they're 5th in a row. The Magic currently sit in 8th place. The Hawks in 6th, which keeps you out of the play-in. The Magic are a game and a half behind the Hawks. They're a half game behind the Sixers and a half game up on the Heat and just 1 game up on Charlotte, who sits in 10th place in the Eastern Conference. Soccer news, Orlando City Soccer's made it official. They have signed from Atletico Madrid. Antoine Griezmann, the Frenchman, will join the team in July. That was the deal. He'll join the team in July. The deal has him under contract for the 27-28 season, an option for the 28-29 season. That's part of when MLS begins to transform its schedule to the international schedule, but he's not coming here until July. By the time he gets here, the team may have already seen its season go by the wayside, off to a dismal start, but a significant signing for Orlando City, a player that may be in the backside of his career, but still can play at a high level and will help. But again, when he gets here, the team and its season may be headed in the wrong direction, as it's gotten off to be that way. Chris, can I give you 2 stories that I think will tick you off?
Oh, goody. Why not?
Not a good setup.
Please tell me more.
Darius Akoff Jr. is a very talented basketball player for Arkansas. He was not a big recruit coming out of high school because he was part of a really good class, but he has just blossomed and is now once thought to be a top 15 pick, now top 10 pick, and some think can make his way into the top 5. He's a very, very talented scoring point guard for Arkansas. He has signed a historic deal with Reebok, becoming the first NCAA athlete to receive such a deal with a major U.S. brand while still in college. And will wear them this weekend. Are you okay with this or no?
That doesn't bother me.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't bother me.
I thought you'd be like, what are we doing? He's so young. Gonna earn it.
Hey, I mean, if they wanna have him wear exclusively Reebok shoes, why not?
Tiger Woods is back for the TGL Championship round. His team, the Jupiter Lynx, is in a championship round with a team from L.A., and Woods told ESPN last night that he's going to play in the second match, which is today. Jupiter lost 6-5 in the Monday opener. If they win the match today, they come back later tonight to play a third match. Okay, here's a quick question. So Woods doesn't play all year. Now wants to come back and take a spot in the championship.
I told you he's going to play in the Masters.
No, he won't.
Yes, he will.
No. By the way, and love Scott Van Pelt. Love Scott Van Pelt. When Scott worked at the Golf Channel many years ago with Hare, I wouldn't say that we were friends, but knew each other because of running in different sports circles. But they moved Sports Center to the side of the TGL thing because ESPN is all. And he goes, you can feel the championship pressure. No, you can't. Okay. That comes in a couple of weeks at Augusta. All right. You don't feel the championship pressure. The
What
TGL.
are you talking about? You're not. Tiger Woods is feeling the pressure.
I did watch the last 3 holes of that thing after the Magic game last night. I did. I flipped over. I was like,
What is that thing average viewership wise? Like 500,000?
Yeah, which is not bad.
Okay.
It's not bad.
Okay.
It's better than running a 30 for 30 again or something like that. So, and they've had a few nights where they've drawn, like if they're on main ESPN, it's about 700,000-800,000. If it's on ESPN2, it's about 500,000 to 600,000.
You mean you don't want a 30 for 30 on this past year's World Series?
Is that out? Yeah, awesome. If it was.
Pretty soon we'll have a 30 for 30 on the Max Crosby failed deal to the Ravens.
Oh, if you've got actual audio, I might be into that, man. Yeah, might be into that one.
Give it time; it might come out.
By the way, Travis Kelsey did get his deal done yesterday. I love the 3 years, $54.7 million. It's a 1-year deal.
My best friend, I love him. Texted me, "What the hell are the Chiefs thinking?" I was like, "Hey,
It's
it's
a
a 1-year
1-year
deal.
deal.
It's a 1-year deal."
That's all it is, man. It's just a 1-year deal. Just relax. All right, 1-year deal. All right, when we come back on Sunday, some of the NFL's biggest names and one of Chris's favorite YouTubers played a little flag football. We had like 2 teams made up of NFL stars and a few social media influencers, and then they brought out the Team USA, like the best flag football players in the world. They beat the daylights out of the NFL stars. One of those players, Felton Brown Jr., joins us next. Yep, one of the iconic Metallica songs, Enter Sandman, doesn't appear in the lyrics. Today's theme for Double Shot Tuesday.
Man, this gets you pumped.
Yeah. Over the weekend, we had a lot of college basketball going on and other sports, but one story that did get a lot of attention, and if you're watching on Fox or maybe you saw some of the highlights, we had some NFL stars of the past and present that got out there to play a little flag football. It was kind of a cool idea. The idea originally was, remember when Tom Brady was going to go over to the Middle East and going to have this thing and, get all these stars, and clearly we had some things developed there that moved this to Los Angeles, and they brought two teams comprised of mostly NFL stars of the present or past and a couple of other people. And then there was the Team USA squad over here, like the guys that play flag football, that do it at the highest level. And when the two teams of pros got done, then they brought Team USA in the field, and then they beat the daylights out of the NFL stars. Velton Brown Jr. is from Orlando. He was kind of joining us a few years ago when the initial announcement was made about flag football going to the Olympics. And Velton's kind of joined us, which I know has been a busy couple of days. Velton, welcome back. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, everybody. How you doing? I'm doing great.
I'm doing fine. When did you learn about that event? How long ago did you know, we're going to go to LA, we're going to play against these guys? How long ago did you know that, Velton?
Before the event, possibly like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks tops.
So when you heard, hey, they're going to get a couple of teams of NFL guys, and then we'll let Team USA play. What did you think then, even before you got to Sunday?
Well, first when USA got us all in the Zoom call, I thought they were lying. I wasn't expecting them to be for real and be like, hey, start talking to your jobs. You need these dates available, Saudi Arabia. And I'm like, Saudi, NFL guys. So that was my initial thoughts, but we started doing more Zoom calls and we started seeing like more of the paper, the behind the scene things, and it started becoming true. And I was like, oh crap, all right. Well, let me pack my bags and make sure my days is called off so I can make it.
When you saw who was playing, what did you think?
Oh, I was excited, man. I watch NFL, so seeing Alvin Kamara, seeing Devontae Smith, these speed guys like me, shoot, I was excited. I was like, how would they adjust to the game of flag, but also just to be around them I was excited when I saw the roster, to be honest.
I'm assuming you watched the other two teams play. What did you and your teammates think as you began to watch those two teams play, and what was going through your mind about when you're going to play them?
When we saw them, it was just like more of the height advantage, the size advantage. But when it's flag, the size doesn't matter. So we saw them playing, and it just looked like 7-on-7 pass catch, and we got happy. We knew like they didn't know the flag aspect of the game, so we knew to take advantage of that.
Their attempts to tackle was hilarious. Just when they tried to just okay. So when you guys take the field, it's okay. It's cool. I'm going against these NFL guys, but from a competition standpoint, you had to feel pretty confident because some of the base stuff you guys run, they had no clue, Felton.
Yes. The first snap, I'm not sure anyone who's tuned in that really watched the game. We did like a Statue of Liberty play, like a trick play that we were just practicing going against the guys. Once we saw how open that play was, we knew. So that's what the energy came from, and speed, get back on the ball. Don't let them get ready. Don't let them look at the coach. Let them figure out what they should be getting into their zones or what type of man schemes or what they need, because that's how fast the game we're going. So we knew exactly what we were supposed to do and the things they thought they was going to be ready for based off of film, but film doesn't help with the flag game. It's so interchangeable.
What do you think they truly didn't understand? Was it the attempt of tackling? Was it the speed that you guys played, the hurry-up offense? What do you think they just were not prepared for to understand?
I don't think they were prepared for the playground aspect of the game. It's a lot of X's and O's when you think of NFL, college, high school. It's more of a technique type of deal. In flag, it's not too much of technique. It goes from a zone. You can look like you're in zone, but it changes to a man eventually because of the play can expand after throwing it to our double quarterback, after giving a handoff misdirection, because now he can run, now he can throw. Now the other guy who's back can run or throw. So it was a lot to the game of we were just excited to see they couldn't like really catch on. And when people can't catch on, you have to go to man. And we just like our athleticism over anybody.
What was the coolest moment for you, whether you're catching or defending, where you lined up and goes, this is kind of cool?
Oh, man. Jalen Ramsey was low-key following me around the field.
Now, wait a minute. Ramsey's known as a great trash talker. Did you kind of trash talk a little bit with him?
Oh, no. I kept my mouth quiet with him. I didn't want to give no NFL guy, like, no edge, because I'm kind of the same way. If a guy talk trash to me, that kind of fuel me up. And he seems like he's that type of guy, too. So he got to find some fuel somewhere else, not from me.
Velton Brown Jr. is with us, Team USA's flag football team, who took on a group of NFL stars and easily won. I'm going to ask you to explain why the best quarterback on the field that day was not Joe Burrow, was not Tom Brady, was not Jalen Hurts, but it was Darrell Hoosh-Doucette. Explain why he was the best quarterback on the field.
Man, Hoosh is a GOAT, man, freak of nature. Everybody took his words out of character a couple of years back of him saying that Patrick Mahomes crap. But as we watch the game, it's true from the flag aspect of the game. He has so much IQ of flag that no one else has. He's been playing for years. So if he sees a certain type of coverage or DBs are walking down to him, he knows he's the eye candy. Hey, just put me in motion. Everyone started flowing with him. We're open. So, like, he's going to throw the ball. He's going to run the ball. He's going to shake you out your shoes. He's just going to keep you guessing. The other NFL guys, we knew the way how they can throw the ball, their ball placement is one of a kind. That's something that we really don't see often in the flag world. Freaking Brady throwing it to Gronk, back corner. We don't see things like that. So we knew passing-wise, they would look amazing. But flag, who should that guy?
Read react is a big part of football, and kind of playing off what you just said, he can line up, and I imagine you've played so long with him that it just is what? It could be eye contact, it could be something, and you just know that he sees something and anticipates before the snap it's going to work, right?
Yes. I can't say it over the radio, but we have a little something like a little look at each other that we know scratch away the route or the play that we just called. We're going right now.
The tackling part of it, at times I laughed. It was a bit embarrassing. They don't understand how to grab a flag, right? I mean that's to me that was the biggest thing, that they don't understand that. It's one thing to catch you guys because you're so fast, but I don't think they understand how to tackle or to stop a play, actually.
Yes. That the flag pull is very, very, very important. I would say the international teams that we've played through competition pull flags better than the NFL guys. Like it's different. You have to square up. Eye-hand coordination. You have to watch the hips. Like they teach you in tackle football to watch the hips. The hips don't necessarily move, but in flag, playing for so long, we learn how to kind of turn and the different positioning and dipping and things like that the NFL players aren't used to seeing. They're used to, full speed, square up and crash and crash into each other. So the flag pulling aspect is definitely very key in the game, because one missed flag pull that can equal a touchdown.
Belton, share, because you've played in the World Championship, for those that are just learning about this, what other countries, who are the countries that are the best competition for you guys? You just say, man, these guys, they can play, they can bring it.
Oh, man. Mexico for sure. Italy, Panama is a great team, up and coming, very competitive. We played Austria in the World Championships in Finland 2024. All of those guys, just like NFL, 6'2", very competitive. They talk their type of trash talk in their language. Like it's very, very similar, but those countries for sure are very competitive.
So obviously, this event got a lot of attention, which is great for guys like you and Hoosh doing national interviews and things like that. But I've made the argument that if the U.S. wants to win a gold medal and you want to send the best flag football players to the Olympics, you're the team to go. You know that there's this hanging thing out there, the NFL and the opportunity to showcase these guys. Do you think this past weekend maybe helps persuade people to say the right thing to do is that Team USA goes to the Olympics? And if you want the NFL guys to compete, they got to earn their way there, which I'm not quite sure between now and 28 that would be possible.
I believe we left a great message when we won. A lot of people seen the cash prize. That wasn't our goal. And like how you said, our goal was to really show the game of flag football. We would love for anyone, that can include guys that's playing in the NFL or not, to come and try out and do our same process to go in and play for gold. I would definitely think that's everyone's opportunity or everyone's goal to be on Team USA and, put your country on your back and go win something. But it wasn't necessarily like a versus thing. It was more like, we want to show that this is a different sport. We also have big names, just like how other sports have big names, but it's a fair opportunity to do exactly what we're doing.
Is there a player that you saw that you say, you know what, he could possibly make the transition, not to give up the NFL, but I'm saying to play at a high level in flag? Was anybody you said, yeah, I think this guy can do it?
Oh, man. I'll say one on offense and one on defense.
Okay.
I had spoke to Antoine Winfield.
Mm-hmm.
Cool guy. He's an amazing dude. He was pulling flags like crazy. Like for you just to not first time seeing it, but you know, you're in past forever. And he was pulling flags amazing. And I told him like, hey, like, I'm not talking to my coach, come see what you want. Come over here.
Right.
And also Saquon Barkley, another cool dude I spoke to. He started adjusting to the game very well. They moved him to the center spot, like how I play. They started just dumping the ball to him. He was using his burst of speed. He started doing little spins and karaoke. I would love to teach him some moves, and so it's a lot of guys I believe that can transition. It'll just take a little time.
All right, I got two final questions, and we'll let you go. And Bento Brown Jr., who lives in Orlando, went to Oak Ridge High School on Team USA for flag football. My producer, Chris Vasquez, has a question for you. Go ahead, Chris.
All right, so your quarterback, Hoosh Doucette, got into it a little bit with Logan Paul. Nothing against Logan Paul, just can't stand him. Did you, when Logan Paul took the glasses of Doucette, did any of you guys want to get in Logan Paul's face and just knock his ass out?
So I'm going to say Logan is an entertainer. I actually got a picture with him. I was able to talk to him. He is a really cool dude, but his life is like entertaining. If you looked at my reaction, I was really surprised that he did. I was really surprised. We wasn't going to get in his grill or nothing. We know to keep it football, but I feel like we were all kind of shocked that he reached for our quarterback's face and took the glasses off, but it was kind of hilarious.
I two final questions that I promise to let you go. What do you hope people learned from this past weekend's event?
That adults, men also play flag football. It is not anything soft. It is not for rejects or people who didn't make it. Just like playing tackle football, it's another hobby that we all love. We, again, just wanted to show that flag football is not the same as tackle football. It is a complete different sport. And I feel like we've made a great message on that.
Last question. What would it mean for you to represent the country in the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles?
Oh, man, it'll mean everything. After this weekend, kind of like being treated like NFL guys and the celebrities there, and then the messages that I'm receiving now, I would definitely love to, because I kind of see I'm kind of a hero to, some youth that reached out to me. So I'm kind of one of the ones that love to reach out and do things that maybe they would want to hear from a guy and they couldn't ever in their life. I want to just, be able to support and do whatever. So that'd be amazing for me.
Vantel Brown is from Orlando, Florida. It's on Team USA's flag football squad. I got a kick out of watching. I was excited that you responded and glad you're able to come on and give us some time today. We'll follow the story. I hope it's you and your teammates to play in 28 in LA. And again, thanks for coming on today.
Man, thank you so much. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Stay blessed.
Belton Brown. Good stuff, man, huh?
Love it.
Come on, man. How do you not want those guys to play in 28?
So humble. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he just went on the football field and dominated NFL players. We're humble.
You know, there's a moment he beat Jalen Ramsey and he felt good about that, right? Because I do remember watching him play like he just burned Jalen Ramsey. Yeah. You never forget that. Come on, man.
But and the IQ of them, like, yeah, we don't want to trash talk them. We don't want to give them anything that's going to give them an extra chip on their shoulder. Just smart.
No,
smart
but you know
football.
what? And you and I were talking yesterday about the NFL's role. The more I think and I listen to Ventel speak, the NFL stars could be the best ambassador for this team. Because now, you know what? You can get Saquon Barkley and say, hey, these guys play this game, man, and I'm going to do what I can to help them. I'm going to market their brand. I'm going to support them. I want to be a flag football ambassador for the 28 team. Like, you can find 5, 6 NFL stars that want to be kind of an NFL ambassador to this team. You can
100%.
market it that way.
100%.
You know? And you're going to tell a guy like Hoosh Doucette, who's, as he said, the GOAT, yeah, we're going to let someone else play in 28. The guy for a decade has been the godfather of flag football. Yeah, we'll sit you in 28. Come on.
No.
Yeah. You didn't like the Logan Paul answer, did you?
I don't expect everyone to have my kind of disdain for Logan Paul.
Chris has anger issues.
I don't have anger issues.
Come back on the mark, off the mark when the Vita Sports continues next. Levita Sports on this Wednesday. Watch us on the stream on our YouTube channel. 96 of the game Orlando. Click on the logo and the live button. You can catch us there. Of course, AM 740, 96 on FM. On the iHeart app, let's do a little on the mark, off the mark. Chris.
And my log just froze.
Oh, likely scenario.
There we go.
It's a Tuesday staple on the beat of
Don't blame me.
sports. On the mark, off the mark. Presented by Bowegan's Beer Company. Bowegan's, recrafting perceptions.
Come on now. You know I love this segment. All right. The MLB season opens up tomorrow with the Giants taking on the Yankees, and Jameis Winston will be in the booth. I don't know how long he will stay if he doesn't stay the whole game. But we've seen how Jameis is with his pre- and post-game speeches. He's funny. He's charismatic. But would he fit in with the baseball crowd? Time will tell. But am I on the mark or off the mark for believing that these streaming games for any sport are going to look for more of an outgoing, funny Jameis Winston, Rob Gronkowski type character instead of your traditional play-by-play analyst type guys, so they can try and stand out and appeal to a different and maybe wider audience?
You're on the mark. I think Jameis Winston can do both as someone that truly played the game, but I think he is a character, and he is Barkley-like in the sense of people will be enjoying the entertainment aspect of it. He doesn't mind making himself the butt of a joke and everything. I think he's a media star waiting to happen.
But again, we haven't seen him really call any baseball games. You think
He's not breaking down exit velocity and cutters and stuff like that and sweepers.
So is he just going to be joke after joke?
I don't know. But he's not hired to be the hardcore baseball guy. He's not Jeff Passan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Darren Peterson and the Kansas Jayhawks run in the NCAA tournament came to an end over the weekend after losing to St. John's on a last-second field goal. For the game, Peterson scored 21 points on 5 of 15 shooting with 4 blocks and 3 turnovers. In 24 games this season, he shot 44% from the floor, including 38% from deep, and averaged 20 points a game. Down the stretch, Peterson has put up some clunkers, including a 3 for 18 shooting performance on the road at Arizona State and a combined 8 for 28 shooting in the Big 12 tournament. Would I be on the mark or off the mark for believing that his late season struggles are due to the inconsistent playing time and that he is no longer going to be a top 3 NBA pick?
I think there's a few more teams that are a little bit skeptical, but I still think he goes in the top 3. What's with the face?
I just make the argument. I don't see how.
Why not?
Again, he's been inconsistent. He doesn't play. When he does play, he plays what, maybe a half?
Chris, not the last month of the season. I think he's not a slam dunk number 1. I don't think he's out of the top 3.
And then he struggled. Some of these games, especially against ranked teams, he struggled.
I still think he does not wait long, and I don't think he gets past 3.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong on this pronunciation. Jaffer Murphy is a name that's going to pop up a lot in the coming days leading up to the NFL draft. At his pro day, he had 12 of 13 field goals, including a 70-yarder, and then also timed at 4.50 in the 40-yard dash. For his career, he never kicked a 60-yard field goal, or a 50-yard field goal, or a 40-yard field goal, or a 30-yard field goal. He never attempted a field goal for UTSA and only kicked 1 extra point, which he made. Murphy was a soccer player for Drake, where he was an MVC all-freshman team, and he also played at Florida Gulf Coast. From Florida Gulf Coast, then he switched to football, where he did, for Division II Lake Erie College, make a 60-yarder. Am I on the mark or off the mark for believing that Murphy, because of his pro day, will become the highest drafted kicker since the 49ers used the 99th overall pick in the 3rd round on Jake Moody?
You're high.
High,
you taking
like
some of that steroid allergy stuff? Yeah. By the way, the people, either him or people with him, that marketed that day, good for them. Great photos of him looking chiseled and everything. But the body of work does not justify a draft pick.
Why not?
He's not a kicker at this level.
Brandon Aubrey wasn't a kicker until he went to the USFL.
He's not human. He's a robot.
Brandon Aubrey is not also running a 4.5.
Wait. I'm sorry. You said until he went where?
Huh?
Until he went where?
Oh, the USFL.
And then put in a season of work in real tackle situations and people coming after him and kick field goals. He's got a body of work. This guy does not have a history of kicking consistently. Yeah, I made a 60-yarder, but no. You're buying this?
Because he hit a 70-yarder. Yeah, I am.
Okay.
And the fact that he ran a 4.5 40. Because we love that. We love 40 times.
Do.
You know that.
What? I want my kicker as the head gunner on the field. That's what I want. Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong. He's going to get drafted.
I disagree. And if I'm wrong, you can have the floor and laugh at me all you want.
I mean, I'm not going to laugh. I don't understand pro days, but he's taking advantage of it.
If he doesn't get drafted, will you eat 8 pounds of broccoli?
God, no. Let's do one more here. Caleb Iceman Williams. The Bears' third-year quarterback has filed applications to trademark the nickname. Williams filed 4 new trademark applications Monday with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office for both the name Iceman and new logo using the nickname, according to USPTO records. The other applications are for silhouettes of Williams mid-throw during the 4th and 8 completion in the game against the Packers. I honestly had no idea that Caleb Williams had the nickname Iceman. Never heard anyone call him that.
Does now.
For his career, Williams is 16 and 18, never thrown for 4,000 yards, and is barely completing 60% of his passes.
What's the question?
Maybe I'm old, the old grump in the room, but am I on the mark or off the mark for believing that there is nothing Iceman related to Caleb Williams, and he does not deserve the nickname?
Well, okay. Can I just ask you before you press a button?
Yes.
I don't. Are you saying he gave himself a nickname?
I don't know who came up with it. Apparently, DJ Moore was asked about it, and DJ Moore said that, yeah, he's got ice in his veins. Okay. He's chill.
Listen, world's about marketing, man. You got to protect your brand.
So, does he deserve the nickname?
Well, if others call him that, yeah, it's one thing if you declare yourself something and no one else called you that. But if teammates have confirmed it, you may not agree that his performance warrants that.
So what do you say? Am I on the mark or off the mark?
I think you're off the mark.
I'm just the old grump.
I think Chicago Bear fans have a different view after the season, all the comeback wins they had.
I don't think he's going to be the quarterback for much longer in Chicago.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Okay.
Well. And the Bears fans rode those incredible late game performances and got ice in his veins. The Iceman.
On the mark, off the mark.
Come back. We'll put a wrap on the Tuesday show. Tell you about tomorrow's program next.
Time for the latest news, gossip, trends, and off-the-wall stories. Trends. Ooh,
that's the craziest thing I ever heard.
Yankees Giants open the Major League Baseball season tomorrow night. Secondary market's pretty high. If you want to sit down low, get set to pay like $1,000.
When are we going to a game?
Huh?
When are we going to a game?
This on? What?
What?
Huh?
Why are we not going to a game together?
When do I have time to go to games?
Whenever you do have time. We can make time for you.
Like, you want to go to a Rays game?
No. We can go any game you want.
Like, drive somewhere together?
That would be great.
I got a game tonight in Stetson. You want to come?
Actually, I would love to.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, tomorrow Keith Smith joins us to talk some NBA basketball. BJ Taylor's back to break down the NCAA tournament. Look at the round of 16. We'll get to that and a whole bunch more in the program. Miss any of today's show? Go where you get your favorite podcast type of the Beat of Sports on demand. Subscribe, get it downloaded to listen when it's convenient for you. Catch the video stream of the show. Go to YouTube, put in 96 The Game Orlando. Click on the logo and the live button. You can watch the show anytime you want. Feel better, Chris.
Thank you, Mark.
Chris produced. I'm Marc Daniels. See you tomorrow for the Wednesday edition of the Beat of Sports.